They forced her to choose, and either way, she would lose something. The night she made the decision, the city lights looked like distant stars falling apart, each one reminding her of something she was about to lose. Her hands were trembling, not from fear alone, but from the weight of a choice that would change her life forever. Some choices don't arrive gently, they crash into your chest and steal your breath. This was one of those moments where love demanded a price, and walking away would have been easier than staying true to her heart. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the kind of love that asks for courage instead of comfort, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. Her name was Ariba, and from the outside, her life looked carefully arranged, like furniture placed exactly where society approved. She had grown up in a home where dreams were planned early, and sacrifices were expected quietly. She was known as responsible, calm, the one who never caused trouble. Education had been her ladder out of uncertainty, and expectations followed her like a shadow. She was supposed to build a life that made everyone proud, even if it meant silencing parts of herself along the way. For years, she believed that was what strength looked like. Then love entered her life not as a storm, but as a slow, steady warmth. It arrived in moments she hadn't prepared for, in conversations that felt honest, in laughter that didn't demand anything in return. This love did not promise perfection or luxury. It offered understanding, respect, and a rare sense of peace. For the first time, she felt seen not for what she could achieve, but for who she truly was. And that terrified her more than anything else. The problem was not love itself, but where it came from and what it challenged. Loving him meant stepping outside. Carefully drawn boundaries. It meant choosing a future that wasn't approved, a path that didn't come with applause. The people who loved her believed they knew what was best, and their concern was real, but so was their fear of what they didn't understand. Every conversation felt like a test, every question like a quiet warning. She began to carry guilt alongside hope, and each day the weight grew heavier. Her struggle wasn't dramatic on the surface. There were no shouting matches, no sudden ultimatums. Instead, there were long nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if love was worth disappointing everyone she had ever cared about. She questioned herself endlessly, wondering if she was being selfish or brave, reckless or honest. The hardest part wasn't choosing between two people. It was choosing between the life she was expected to live and the life her heart recognized as true. As time passed, the pressure became unbearable. She felt herself shrinking in conversations, avoiding questions about her future, smiling through expectations that felt like chains. Love, which had once felt like refuge, now came with fear of loss. She knew that whatever she chose, something precious would break, and yet deep down, she understood that not choosing was its own kind of loss. Staying silent meant betraying herself, and that realization hurt more than the thought of judgment ever could. The turning point came quietly, on an ordinary day that should have meant nothing. She watched her reflection in a window and barely recognized the woman staring back. Her eyes looked tired, not from work or responsibility, but from pretending. In that moment, something shifted. She realized that love was not just about holding someone's hand, it was about holding on to truth, even when it hurt. She understood that courage wasn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes courage was simply refusing to lie to yourself any longer. Making the hardest choice for love didn't mean she felt suddenly strong. In fact, she felt fragile, exposed, and uncertain. But for the first time, her fear was honest. She chose to stand by the love that had given her strength instead of slowly draining it away. She chose a future that felt real over one that only looked safe. And when she finally made that choice, the world didn't collapse the way she had imagined. It simply went quiet. The aftermath was painful. Relationships felt strained, and familiar comforts disappeared. There were days filled with doubt, moments when loneliness felt overwhelming. She questioned herself again and again, wondering if she had made a terrible mistake. Love did not erase her struggles, it walked with her through them. She learned that choosing love did not mean choosing ease, it meant choosing growth, patience, and resilience. Slowly, life began to change in unexpected ways. People who had doubted her started to see her strength. Some never fully understood, but others softened with time. She discovered new confidence in making decisions for herself, and that confidence spilled into every part of her life. She built a future not on approval, but on honesty. Love, once a risk, became a foundation. What surprised her most was how the hardest choice became the most healing one. She learned that love isn't about running away from responsibility, it's about choosing what makes you whole. She learned that sacrifice doesn't always mean giving something up for others. Sometimes it means giving up fear for yourself. The pain she had carried slowly transformed into wisdom, and the doubts that once haunted her became reminders of how far she had come. As years passed, she looked back on that night of trembling hands and broken expectations with gratitude. Not because it was easy, but because it taught her who she was. She realized that love had asked her for bravery, and in answering that call, she had found her own voice. Her life was not perfect, but it was honest. And that honesty brought a peace she had never known before. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of a choice you're facing or a love you fought for, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps keep these meaningful stories alive. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Comment below with the words "I choose love" if you believe that listening to your heart, even when it's hard, can change your life. In the end, Ariba understood something simple yet profound. Love does not promise an easy road, but it offers a true one. And sometimes, the hardest choice is the one that leads you home to yourself.